Hello, Philip Nicholas, Relight Your Life. Um, I have questions about my last video over attachments and a little complaint because it wasn't in English and not everybody can understand German. I'm an Englishman living here in Germany since 1979. How did I get in this area of working and working with attachments over the spiritual way with God and the angels of light? That that theme I will do a new video in October. I will do it as an interview where someone will ask me questions because there is so many questions about it that I wish to answer them correctly. So it will give you more insight about my journey with God. Did I volunteer? Did it just happen? And so on and so on. Okay. The complaint I will say straight away is that I wasn't talking English. I would do videos in German and English because I know there are a lot of people who only can understand English. I'm from Manchester. I hope you can understand my English because sometimes they tell us we have a terrible dialect or a terrible slang, and I would do my best to speak correctly. No offense to all the Mancunians out there. I love the language and I love being a Mancunian. Um, Somebody complained they have no chance because I to come to me because I live in Germany and the expense will just explode right through the ceiling, which I do agree. But today there is a very, very easy way to resolve such things. Today, oh, an email's just turned up. Sorry about that. Um, Today there is Skype and Zoom, and I have great appointments over Skype. We can see each other and I can work things out with you. Energy is not bounded with time or space, and to release attachment no matter whether you are in another city or in another country, it just makes no difference. It's easy over Skype or Zoom. Here's my email. I actually think it's probably wrong from the mirror side of it, but it's called info at philip-nichols.de. If you see my first video in YouTube, Philip Nichols in German, at the end you can see that's my business card. Actually, I could have done today, but I forgot to be honest. So let's get down to it so you can catch me no matter which country you're in or which city. I can do the work in German and English, so it's no problem. First question to meet your questions: how do I get an attachment? Well, there are several ways to get an attachment. The first thing is with people we love, we are not letting them go. When a person time has come to pass away, there is not much time that they can leave in the earth. The natural thing is we think they passed away and they're going straight to the light. That is the correct way, and that is what should happen, but it doesn't always happen that way. Not letting go of a person. There are also like arguments in the family. They passed away and you couldn't solve it out. That person, as soon as they go out of their body, the spirit and soul are together and they realize, oh, I should have solved this before now. And then they go back to the family. And in the spiritual world, your spirit and soul can be in different places at different times and can to attach to many members of the family without you even realizing in the beginning. Other things are what open spiritual doors is like excessive bad things in sexual areas, drugs, alcohol. Um, these things where some people go into drinking and going into comas. What happens is a spiritual door opens, and then it's like opening Pandora's box. And if you open Pandora's box, you have to carry the consequences for what you've done, whether you knew it was there or not. Um, so the good thing about things like that is that you can find help by me or somebody else in the world who has this calling on their life to help people with attachments. Um, you see, some people say it's is that a bit unfair that I don't know about the laws? Well, actually, no, because most people are trying to avoid spiritual things. Why? Because if you say, "Oh, in that house it's spooky," then people will say, "Oh, yeah, well, you're nuts," or "You just imagine it," or "That light's going on, and I can hear voices." And somebody who's had experience in this area, myself included, you notice the reaction straight away, and you become very quiet. But if you do acknowledge things like this, get in touch with me. You're not going crazy. It does all exist, and there exist a lot more. Are there evil spirits, such a thing as black magic and curses working today? I can only talk from my experiences with clients from different countries. There are countries like Greece and Turkey where it's well known, it's all sort of kept behind the door, but it's well known that black magic and curses are still being used today. I can imagine it being done in other countries as well. And believe me, when you see the energy of somebody who's been cursed or black magic's involved, it's very, very how can I explain it? You remember as a child, there was this like children had this like green gooey stuff. I don't know what you call it, like scrunge or it's like a weird jelly stuff, and it was sticky, and you could tear it apart and throw it, and it was just well very similar. That's what the energy looks like. But if it's upon you, it makes you very ill. You have no energy. You're down, you can't get up. You can even get into depression. Bad things turn up in your life. No success at all. Everything is just dark. Very similar things happen, excuse me, with attachments. Your energy goes down. A lot of bad things can happen. A lot of bad luck occurs in your life. Bad situations keep occurring and occurring, and no matter what you do, you don't seem to have any success. And that's the first thing to look at. Is something involved in my life? A lot of people don't know that there's a curse on their life, and it's surprising what happens. And even though people come to me and still can't believe it now and again, they believe it then when within a short period of life in time, their life just turns around and starts getting happier. Relations start getting better. People tell them you've changed completely. Yes, because the darkness and the energy what was with them has gone. Some people have some bad things where they really smell pretty bad and can't get rid of it. Some have some shaky situations or some weird sort of ticks where they don't know where it's coming from. And it's most, I would say 95% of the time, it has to do with attachment, things where you've opened doors where you didn't know they've opened, and it's just influenced your life in a very bad way. The good thing is you can be relieved from it and you can go on in your life in a beautiful way. Thank God for that. How long does an appointment take? Well, if you get in touch with me, usually 1.5 hours. Preparing is you have to have a room where you're on your own, no animals in the room, and over Skype. And the rest I would tell you when you make an appointment. What happens with me when I'm free? Well, basically, all that negative stuff, what occurred in your life, starts changing day by day. Your energy goes and potencies in the right way. That means positive things happen and positive things can come into your life again. I've had so many wonderful experiences. I will give you an example from a young lady who is mm, 32, 33, I'm not quite sure anymore. Um, I will explain that to you quite quick. When I'm doing an appointment with you, some people say, doesn't it bring you down? All that stuff on everything? Well, to be honest, no, it's not my energy. And during this 1.5 hours, it doesn't matter what happens or what I've heard, it just goes through me. Most of it's gone, and it's only like very, very special situations where it's just there, and I can give this as an example. Everything else is just gone, so it doesn't bother me. I'm protected by God and the angels of light, who I work with hand in hand. You don't have to believe me, and you can believe whatever you wish, but you will see when you've worked with me what happens. An example: this young lady, she she had an attachment from her granddad here in Germany, and he protected her. Sounds a bit funny, but that was his idea. He was protecting her from the bad guys. This typical situation. Men always want the same thing, and I'm going to look after you. And basically, as she grew up, she didn't have a boyfriend because basically the granddad sorted that out, that no one could get in and near. But someday he passed away, and on that day, she actually knew that the spirit and the soul of a granddad was with her, because she knew it straight away. And he was with her for 12 years, which didn't seem to bother him at first. But when she called for help and asked me to come, I asked her, why did you ask only after 12 years? And the explanation was quite reasonable. Well, she said, well, my granddad always protected me. He didn't want any harm, and he didn't do me any harm. But then now at this age, I wanted a boyfriend. Can you imagine not having a boyfriend all that teeny time, no experience, no nothing? Now she wants a boyfriend, and the energy of her granddad, who was protecting her, was so heavy. Told me she went to a disco and basically opened her blouse so you could see the rim of her chest, and basically saying, well, I'm open, come and talk to me, and let's have a chat, and tried everything. And I'll tell you something, she was a very attractive young lady. And what happened is that young guys came up to her. As soon as they got close, within a meter, they just turned away in fear. And the thing was, the energy of the grandfather was so strong that the fear from the guys just kept them away from her. And then she said, I don't want my life to be ruined or overtaken for my granddad who's passed away. I love him, but now it's enough. And what happened also, she knew that her granddad had some habits, what he used to do, and he was taking control and living his habits through her, which was for her very uncomfortable. Um, then we did the relieving of the attachment from a grandfather, and then I asked her to go in the bathroom to look in the mirror, and you could see. She could see for all this time she has not seen the white of her eyes. She got used to it because it was really weird. Her eyes were like earth upon them, like a very, very funny brown color. Oh, like this on the tree here at the side. That was the color of the white of her eyes. And as soon as she was released from this, and he went into the light, she returned in her own energy. It started potenting right away. And I could hear her, and she screamed in the bathroom. And I thought, oh, something's wrong. And she screamed for joy, to be honest, because she says, I've got beautiful blue eyes. I've not seen them in years. The beauty of this was, after a few weeks of time, things started changing because once you get into your own energy, to look at it simple, the number eight is the universal energy, and every human being has that. That is the light and strength of your spirit and soul. And once it's got attachments on it, it doesn't work correctly. And the more you have, the less it works positive for you. Once you release, it starts going in the universal way, it potentiates right. And what happens is everything changes in your life. All of a sudden, doors started opening, success came more and more into her life, and all of a sudden, she met the first guy and started dating and whatsoever. But I'll have to tell you the funny part about it as well. At the end of the day, she realized it was nice to have a boyfriend, but she was more looking forward to getting more success in her job. Well, that's her decision, that's not mine. Everything was sorted out. She was happy, I was happy, and everything was done. So if you wish to get in touch with me, I would be very happy to help you. If you know somebody who's in a bad way or a spooky house or whatsoever, just get in touch with me. You can get in touch with me, and I won't laugh about it or laugh at you about the things you can tell me, because it's my job and I know you're telling the truth. So that's the end of this video. I hope you enjoy it. I'd love you to get in touch if you'd like to just write or have questions. I will try to answer them as soon as possible. Please be patient, and I will meet you in the next video. Have a lovely morning, have a lovely day, or have a lovely evening. And please trust in God, even when everything in life seems to be going a bit haywire. God has control over everything, whether believe it or not. Please excuse my English. I'm going to have to get back into it because I'm used to talking German all the time. So I'm concentrating very hard for you. Okay, I'll get back into it soon. Have a great day. Bye bye for now.